What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Panthers advice today, man. We got to talk about the Legette situation because you had Steve Smith kind of sticking up for him a little bit. Then you had a couple other former players not really sticking up for him, including Cam Newton. Now, Cam Newton wasn't really trashing him, but he was saying, right, you got to get it together. So we're going to take a look at what he said, but we're also going to take a look at the film. So in the video right here, all right, it's going to be Cam Newton talking about XL, and he makes so many great points. Usually I'm kind of 50-50 with Cam, to be honest. But in the video he dropped yesterday, he made a lot of good points and things that we're going to go over in the film. So take a listen right here.
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of seeing these receivers, these quarterbacks, these players have an off season where they're doing things like this.
Then you got the one and only.
So before Cam continues on this video talking about Legette and, working with Route God and everybody else in the offseason, I get where he's coming from because it happens in basketball just as much, right? That's why there's not really a 5 anymore. There's no true center. And when it comes to football, when it comes to receivers, they all do this. This is what they all do. And yet there's still only Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and a few others behind them. Tetaroa might be that guy, all right? But there's not that many of them, and yet they all keep doing this. The big thing last year was what? Let's go full cam real quick. The big thing last year on XL was what? It was catching, right? And so when you look at his highlight tape, as Cam calls it, right? How are they improving his catching? He knew where the ball was going to be every single time because the second he came out of that route, the ball wasn't there. No, they wait a second or two, let Legette see the ball or who's throwing it. To me, it should be the opposite. They should have 2 throwers, and XL doesn't know which quarterback is going to throw it on that one, right? It could be to the left. It could be to the right. The play we just paused it on, it was a little high. That's how it should be. Get his mind to react quicker, right? Yes, the routes, okay, it helps a little bit. But that was never an issue, right? The issue was the hands. So when you have a quarterback sitting there waiting to throw it to him after he runs this a little amazing highlight drill, it's not helping him succeed. Get 2, get 3 quarterbacks out there. Get one that's inflated, get one that's underinflated, get one that's overinflated, right? Get a short guy to throw, get a tall guy to throw. You see what I'm saying? Get him used to different angles to catch the ball. The routes are good, right? He runs an in route, perfect, something he needs to work on. But I want to see more of, okay, as he comes out of that in route, the ball's right there. Is he going to catch it? You put a trash can there. Is he going to stop on a dime, turn around the backside, and catch it from the short quarterback, the tall quarterback? That's what I want to see from him. All right, let's keep it going, though. Let's keep it going. Cam has a few more things to say real quick before we jump into the film.
Ask this question. How does it translate? Stop focusing on all these mixtapes and these choreographed dance moves. And does it translate? Let's get back to the fundamentals. How about understanding, like, what the quarterback is expecting of me? Too many times I see receivers focusing on route running or skill sets that they're not the receiver that really has these routes.
Cam hit this on the head perfectly, right? Because you look at Jonathan Mingo. To me, he's a good receiver, but his timing was never on par with Bryce Young. And part of the problem was during his release, you didn't know how many moves he was going to do. It could be one move, bang, step left, come back right. Step back right, come back left. Or it could be step left, come back right, vice versa, step back again, and then go. So whenever Bryce was trying to hit Mingo, it was either behind or too far in front of. That was the problem with Mingo. And when you look at Legette, not quite the same thing. Legette's just his hands, right? The route running was never really an issue with Legette because he has size, right? So he can fight up the defenders, and it's hard for them to reach around him. And he has the speed. The route running, I don't understand what we're doing here. It doesn't make sense, right? Let's let Cam continue this thing a little bit longer real quick.
Huh? I see a lot of these option route runners like, bro, you're never going to run an option route, bro. Yeah. Work what you're going to do.
So like I said, Cam summed that thing up nicely, but now we're going to take a look at the Cardinals game because we got to see, okay, everybody seems to be hating on XL. Then we saw what happened in the broadcast camera, but remember, the broadcast camera, it doesn't show you everything. So we're going to take a look at it from the all-22 angle right here. First, we're going to look at empty spread. You got T-Mac and Legette down here. Now, I don't love this for a couple of reasons. The first thing I don't like about this play is having T-Mac right here in the stack formation with Legette. Okay, and the reason for that is this right here. Because T-Mac being a run blocker, it's not his strong suit. Now you're like, okay, weren't you the one who said to use T-Mac as a decoy? Yes, as a decoy, not as a run blocker. Now, the edge is actually going to make the tackle right here, but I don't love that because T-Mac never goes out for a route, right? Never goes out for a route. So you're going to see the DB is never even tempted, right, to go deep. You see what I'm saying? Because he's just watching T-Mac. Now, they try and force Legette the ball right here by just doing a quick bubble screen right here. To me, I would like to see a smash concept, right? Push T-Mac deep and then bang, go to Legette underneath. Why are we throwing him bubble screens? Why are we forcing T-Mac to be a run blocker when it's not his strong suit? You see where I'm going with this? Is they're almost trying too hard to force him the ball. T-Mac works as a decoy. If you're going to send him deep, then bang, go to Legette underneath. But a bubble screen with T-Mac as a lead block, to me, it just doesn't make sense. Let's take a look at play number 2 right here. So once again, you're going to have Legette, all right, in the stack formation, this time with Hunter Renfrow. Let's take a look what happens on this play. This one confused me, man. This one, it confused me, right? Because when I go back and I'm watching this play. So we're going to count to 3 real quick, all right? So ball snapped, 1, 2, 3. Bro, what is Legette doing? I don't have an answer for this. So usually on these option routes, right, if it's zone, you sit. If it's man, you keep running. Obviously, right? Zone, find the soft spot in the zone coverage, just sit there. I don't know what he's doing right here. If somebody wants to inform me in the comments, maybe I have it wrong. I don't think I do, though. Because take a look right here, a little switch concept on this right side, bang. And then bang, attack the seam right there. All right, little rail route right there. Bang, push this out. Underneath is open for Legette, right? Because the defenders, they're all pushing deep. He's probably going to push flat. I don't know why he sits right there. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I need to run. It's just not a good look, right? 2nd and 7 right here. Bryce Young is trying to force him the ball, right? He's going to look up the mic right there to the right side. Take a look. Bang. He's looking at Legette, and Legette's just sitting there in front of the defender. When I say I'm confused, I am all sorts of confused on this play right here, but we're not done yet. Now we're going to jump to the second quarter. Have him in the stack once again. So now you're kind of saying, okay, the Panthers have to put him in a stack formation to try and force him the ball, essentially. That's essentially what it's looking like. Now, I'm not saying that's for certain, but that's how it's coming across, because the first 2, he was in stack, right? You're going to have Legette on that out route, smash concept right here. Now, Bryce Young is going to sail this one. He's going to sail it. Now, I can't excuse Bryce Young for this throw right here. He's going to roll out to his right. I mean, yeah, just not a good throw from Bryce Young. So that one's actually not on Legette. That one's on Bryce. And right here, we're going doubles. And there's something I wanted to look at right here. Because you could say, okay, Bryce Young. You could say that. But let me show you a different type of viewpoint to look at. All right. So we're going to pause right here. But I want you to look at T-Mac, right, working to the outside, and Legette working to the outside. Both are doing the exact same thing. But the thing to watch is the DBs right here. Look at his hips going this way. Look at his hips going this way. You see the difference? This DB can play that ball with ease, right? Because he's already breaking to the ball. He's running that route for XL. If Bryce Young throws over here to the left side, this is money, right? This DB has to turn 180 degrees around. Now let's rewind it real quick and see, okay, how did this happen? From the jump, T-Mac's cornerback is worried about T-Mac taking him deep. XL guy, he's not even remotely worried, right? Run that back real quick. Take a look right here. So Bryce Young has the ball. We're going to play it. The second he sees XL break, he's breaking on it too. At no point does XL sail this route right here. Right? That's why the DB's on it. You go over the top of your screen, right? You see T-Mac on that left side. Look what he does to the DB. So all that route running and everything else, this is what I'm talking about. Right? And the reason I say that is this right here. It's good to have a great release in your first 2 or 3 yards too. But what about having someone at the top of the route? Right? That's the biggest thing I talked about with him. Is he's so top heavy, when he gets to the top, he doesn't have the smoothest stop. Right? So if he has to sell the route, it's not going to look the prettiest. That's where his size and his speed come into play. But you have to at least semi-sell the route like you're going deep. And part of this is on the Panthers because the Panthers aren't really pushing him deep because I don't know if they trust him or not, right? So when you look at this play from start to finish, you're going to see the DB is not remotely worried about him. Not even remotely. XL still has a ton of potential, but we got to get the fundamentals down first, right? You can't be stopping right on that option route. Like you can't go up to that DB right there and just stop. Oh, man. Some work has to be done all the way around, though, right? Nobody has played perfectly. Okay, so work has to be done all the way around. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy. Panthers Vices out. Peace.